Nigani oge ma binas ndishina kaz. Atek dotem. Mikizi sa ganin genin donji. Ma shkone ganin. We kawi pa Jean ki pitbach mog menja nishina bek. Kchag. Ogi kenda na awa go ka katbach mot. Mitashkanin. We ni nacham genin we. Chuba machan. Misigo e chugwe kusitoan genin. Chukagi gitoan we. Tibach moin. Kainin gaganiunim. Gagionim si. Ashna magwek pionja magan. Wega witibach moto. Wago goega mazinakizvat. Kawinino ma. Mitashima wekata. Ekutoan. Well, what I said in Ojibwe is the elders of my time told me these stories and were amalgamating them, fact-finding the history of the lake and history of the Ojibways of Eagle Lake. And also, the elders never lied. They spoke from here, not up here. And what about, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm not fabricating it. It was done through tradition, passed on from generation to generation. There were over 50 elders that I spoke of. My grandparents, my parents, and a lot of people tell their stories to another person and they don't listen. But I was fortunate enough at 16 to start talking to the elders of my time. Oh, okay. In this area here, back in the bush, there's graves back there. One of the person that told me that was Guijan Shishkishan Kazo, Albert's guy. And then give Tabines to Fred Pitchenese. There's sky graves, they said it was up here. They used to guide for century. We stayed in a guiding shack by one of the islands coming in. And there was old-timers in that guiding shack. Ed Pitchenese, Wisigachon, Harry Pitchenese, Bashins, Fred Indian too was in there. Gintragonabigation Kazo. And then also sometimes Raymond Moss again was another rookie guide at the time. And then myself, we used to guide here, and I listened to the old-timer stories there, the ones I just named. And Tony Adams was another one that was there, and I think Joe Nabish towards the end of his guiding career. And they used to tell all kinds of stories of things that happened here. And Donnie was another one that was another rookie at the time, and he must have gathered a lot of information from there. And the thing about this place is when you go inland, like I said over there, you're gonna encounter cutout areas. And I think just a little ways you could see the where they almost cut in there and disturbed the graves that are here. Well, the cultural area, the reserve, the First Nation owned this, and the area shouldn't be cut over. Like the purpose of the camp is to acquire outdoor life skills, and also the old cultural values that the Ojibwe people used to have. They set gill nets and they hunt, and without it, without the trees and the other undergrowth, the moose, there's no moose, very scarce in this area. If you drive on the logging roads up here, which will show you the next stop, a lot of hunters come across this area to hunt moose. Even southern Ontario camps are moose camps along the moose habitat, and they don't stand a chance to reproduce or grow. I mean, there should be a moratorium on the moose for maybe 5 years to let it regenerate. And the deer, there's hardly any deer too in there because the wolves have taken over, and also bear taking moose caps, and so there's no and then man, which is the most dangerous predator of all. They deplete the moose supply, deer supply, and then they blame it on the wolves and bear. So they have to blame something. And I'm glad to be part of this project to show people some sensitive areas which are not supposed to be cut over, and graves, before I go on to the next world. Cutting right over there, see? That spot that used to be a campground, again, springtime was the most time that some of the Ojibwe people would gather there, and the spawning fish, which is Wabu's that's where the walleyes would spawn, and then the campground up here. And also during the Ojibwe wars, this little narrows was used as an ambush point by the Ojibways on both sides of the narrows. So you could find arrowheads and artifacts on each side of the narrows. And now, as you could see, the clear opening, that's clear cut on both sides of the narrows. And like we marked some on the map about sensitive areas, and the paper companies just ignore them or play dumb. Some, like I said before, we mark sensitive areas on the map 3 times, say we don't have that on mark, so This is the excuse they use if they're gonna cut over some sensitive areas or dig up graves. The Pitcheneses and Nabishes, there was a big village in there. Now, where we're gonna go, the Sioux came in from that way. They surprised the village here. And who was left in the village were women, children, and elders. And they massacred every one of them. Now see this little landmark. The women were staked to their privates for everybody to see. All the way around there. And that's where the, Wabigon, they annihilated some of the war parties that took place there. Rock Lake, Pitchenese, when he was small. Old man Ed Brown, that was his name, saw the Ojibways and Sioux battle. And this area all over is a sensitive area for the Ojibwe people and the fallen warriors that took place. And in the falls, there's a couple of graves on your left-hand side when you go in from here, and those are Pitchenese's graves. And then this area in Gulf Falls is called Suzuki. That means Smooth Rock Falls, not in Gulf. And every time I come here, I always think about my grandmother that told the story here called Skummin Redberry or Raspberry in Skummin. And then Ginjagunab used to live here too, Fred Indian. And those are the other original inhabitants of the area. But the massacre took place in that village over there. You could see the rock wall. And there's a little, there's a road that goes up here, and a fork up here that goes across the creek. And on top of the hill, you could see the kind of clearing where the village used to be. And like I said, I'm not making this up. I've heard my elders of my time spoke about this place. And the clearing over there, it's called Winiskuzageganis. That means where the four winds meet. And I'll show you another place where they put tobacco. They had pictographs on that narrows, but the weather, the rock fell down with the pictographs. I know we used to camp out here too when we were picking rice, and that's the person that told me this massacre, and also the other elders that confirmed the massacre when I asked them. And like I say, a lot of people travel through here not knowing the what took place long time ago. And a lot of people try to discredit the native people, that the first inhabitants of the land, through the migration theory. I mean, there's another theory that you could consider, the continental drift theory, where the land plate tectonics split up, and over time the pieces of countries and land mass look like a jigsaw puzzle. When the land, as the elders stated, floated away from the other countries.